Another week, another video. Welcome back everyone to a new episode on this tutorial series about the Unity XR Toolkit. In the previous episode, we learned how to interact with the object, and today I want to follow up with this video by showing you how to offset grab an object or use an array to interact with them. In the next episode, we will learn about the user interface in VR, so make sure to subscribe to not miss the next video. And I'm currently making another exclusive tutorial for my Patreon where we will make a complete game from scratch using everything that we learned so far. So if you'd like to know more about it and support the channel, join us, link in the description. But without further ado, let's get started. And we are back where we were at the end of last episode. So something that some of you might have noticed with this gun that we made previously is that yes, the attach transform snapped the gun correctly on our right hand, but not on the left hand. This is an issue that we might see fixed in the future update of the Unity XR Toolkit, but in the meantime, I'm going to show you an easy fix right here. So let's select the gun, remove the XR Grab Interactable. Instead, I'm going to create a new component called XR Grab Interactable to attach. Now let's double click on the script to open it. At the top, let's write using Unity engine.xr.interaction.toolkit. And here, instead of mono behavior, let's write XR Grab Interactable. There you go. So what we just did is create a script that will extend the XR Grab Interactable. This means that we will be able to still have the same behavior from the XR Grab Interactable, but actually override some of its function. This is another technique to trigger some behavior similar to using the interactor event that we saw in last video when firing a bullet. But in my case, I want to have two attach transform, one for each end, and set the one corresponding to the end grabbing the object. To do so, let's override the select enter with override. Here is the list of all the things we can override. Let's select the on select entered and press on enter. Here you go. Next, let's add two public transform, a public transform left attach transform, and a public transform right attach transform. So the next step is to know which end is grabbing the object. So if we go back to Unity, we could go here, access the name and use it to know which end. But this means that if for any reason we want to update the name of this game object in the hierarchy, it will stop working. So I think a better idea is to use a tag. Let's click on tag, add tag, and create two new tags. One called left hand and the other right hand. There you go. We can select back the left hand and assign it the left hand tag, and do the same for the right hand, but this time with the right hand tag. Perfect. Now what's left is to access the tag and compare it. Back in the script, we can use the arg parameter here to get information about the interaction. So we can compare the tag with first get the interactor transform component if args.interactorObject.transform, and then compare the tag with compare tag left hand. And if it's the case, we want the attach transform to be the left hand attach transform. There you go. We can continue with this time else if args.interactorObject.transform.compare tag right hand. And if it has the right hand tag, we can do attach transform equals right hand attach transform. Perfect. An important remark here, as you can see from below with this based on select enter, after changing the attach transform, it will continue with the same behavior from XR Grab Interactable component that we are extending, which is what we want. So let's save our script and go back to Unity. Next, we need to set up the two attach transform. For the right one, we have still the one we made in the last episode. So we can rename it right attach point and drag it on the right attached transform parameter. Now to do the one for the left hand, we can duplicate the right attach point, rename it left attach point, and in my case, I just want the same offset on the left and right, so I will simply invert the X position. So let's drag it in the component as well now. Perfect. Finally, let's click on play to try what we made. There it is, guys. No more issue on the left or right attach transform. We managed to fix it with our own component and everything still works. Congratulations. Now we've seen how to grab an object by snapping it to a certain point in our hand, but what if we don't want the object to snap but to keep its position when we grab it? This is what we will learn now with the offset grab interactable. Oh, and an important remark, while doing the edit of this video, I noticed that the new Unity XR Toolkit 2.1 update has added this feature by default, which is great news. So if you are on a newer version of Unity XR Toolkit than mine, which is 2.0, you can simply enable here use dynamic attach in the XR grab interactable and continue with the next section of this video. Otherwise, let's learn how to do this ourselves. So the technique to do this is actually using again the attach transform and changing its position to the position of our hands to keep the same offset. Let me show you. First, let's duplicate one of our cube, move it to the side and rename it grab interactable offset. This time we are going to create another component that extends the XR grab interactable. Let's remove it first and create this new component called XR offset grab interactable. We can open this script. We want to override, as we did earlier, the XR grab interactable. So let's write using Unity engine.xr.interaction.toolkit at the top and replace mono behavior right here with XR grab interactable. There you go. Next, we are going to create an attach transform if it does not already have one. So inside the start function, if no attach transform, we create a new empty game object with GameObject attach point equals new GameObject offset grab pivot. Attach point dot transform dot set parent transform false. Here the false means that it will have a local position and rotation at 0, 0, 0. Finally, set the attach transform to be attach point dot transform. Perfect. Now we can override the onSelect enter as we did earlier and set the position of the attach to be the position of the interactor. So attach transform dot position equals arg dot interactor object dot transform dot position. Same for the rotation now. So attach transform dot rotation equals arg.interactorObject.transform.rotation. There you go. Now, as simple as this. Let's save our script and go back to Unity. And if we click on play, it works. The object keeps its initial position and is still grabbable with both hands. This is super cool and feels more immersive to me than the snap grab. So we already learned a lot about Interactable and how to tweak them, but let's go on the other side this time and learn a new interactor. You see, grabbing an object that is far away is one of the most annoying things to do in VR. That's why a common technique to fix this issue is distance grabbing. And with the Unity XR Toolkit and what we already made, you will see how easy it is to do this using a ray. We are going to create two new XR ray interactors. We already seen how to do this before, so let's quickly right click on the camera offset, XR, and do ray interactor action based. Set XR controller to right hand using the preset here and rename it right grab ray. Now we can do the same as always for the left hand, but this time with the left hand preset and the name left grab ray. And that's it. We have a ray for each hand. Now, good thing to do is to also set the tag of these hands. So let's set it to right hand on the right ray and left hand on the left ray. And that's it. Just like this, we have set up a distance grabbing system. Don't believe me? Let's click on play to try this. There it is. As you can see, I have laser coming out of my hands, and if I point it to one of the cube and press on the grip button, ta-da, it snaps to my hand. This is super cool. Now we can already improve this distance grab just a little bit. So let's leave play mode. First, I think having a ray always showing is a bit annoying, so I'm going to remove it when it's invalid. To do so, we can select both ray, go to the XR interactor line visual, and for the invalid color gradient, select one of these things at the top and change the alpha value to 0. This will make a color gradient that will be completely transparent from start to end. So if you want, you can edit the color of the valid gradient the same way. In my case, I will simply reduce it a bit on the alpha value. We can even change the line width to 0.01. And next, I also want to have a shorter ray, so we can go to the XR ray interactor this time, and here in the max raycast distance, set it to 4. Now, if we click on play, as you can see, this feels already a lot nicer, but now we have another issue that we need to fix. as you can see, we can grab all objects from a distance, but when we try with the XR grab offset from earlier, it does grab and keep the object at the same position. We are going to see how to have that behavior for all cubes, but this is an unwanted thing right now, so let's see how to fix this. Let's go back to the XR offset script, and we need to know if the interactor is a XR direct interactor. So if args.interactor object is XR direct interactor, and if it's the case, we update the attached transform position like before, but if not, it means that we are grabbing with array, so we need to set the position back to a default one. So for this, I'm going to use the default position that the attached transform has at the start of the game. So we need two new variables, a private vector 3 called initial local pose and a private quaternion initial local rut. And if we have an attached transform already, we can do initial local pose equals attached transform dot local position. And the same for the rotation with initial local rut equals attach transform dot local rotation. What's left is to use it in the select enter, so by resetting the local position and rotation with attach transform dot local position equals initial local pose and attach transform dot local rotation equals initial local rot. Perfect, just like this, we made sure that if array is interacting with the game object or any other interactor, it will use a default position and not try to change the attached transform. So now let's save our script, go back to Unity and test our game. And there it is, no more issue with the array on the XR offset grab. But if you guys wanted to be able to grab an object from far away but keep the distance like we had in our bug, there is actually a thing to do this with the array interactor. So let's select both our array and here uncheck the force grab. So if we try our game, as you can see, this is so cool. I can now grab the cube and keep the distance, but more than that, I can use the thumbstick to change their position and rotation. So this is super handy for a lot of applications, but in my case, I think I will leave the default force grab on. So right now, even if I didn't show it to you, our interaction is a big mess. You see, with the grab ray, I can teleport. With the teleport ray, I can grab. So how can we fix this, and more generally, how can we make an object not respond to an interactor, which can be useful even if you want a particular object to be direct grabbable but not ray grabbable. So let me show you. In my case, I want to separate teleportation, ray interaction and direct interaction. So let's click on one of our interactors. As you can see, we have here the interaction layer mask. So let's click on add layer and create a layer for each type of interaction. So teleportation, direct interaction, and array interaction. Now that it is created, let's select the left and right hand with the XR direct interactor, choose nothing in the layer mask to reset it, and select then direct interaction. Now same for the teleportation, select them both, nothing, and add the teleportation layer. Finally, once again for the right and left grab ray with ray interaction. Now all of our three interactors have their separate interaction layer mask. This means that they will only be able to interact with objects that have at least the layer mask they have. So let's do an example for the teleportation. I'm going to select our plane that has the teleportation area, set the interaction layer to nothing and then to teleportation. Same for the two teleportation anchor that we have. And now for the grab interactable, and we can say if we want direct and ray interaction over there, but in my case, I want all of these objects to be grabbed from a distance and from a direct interaction. So let's have the ray and direct interaction both on the interaction layer. So to show you the difference, maybe when setting the layer mask, I'm going to make another example using the simple interactable here. So let's duplicate it, put it on the side, call it simple interactable ray, set the layer mask to ray, do the same with the other ones, rename it simple interactable direct this time, and set the interaction layer mask to only direct. And there you go, now we have correctly separated our interaction into 3 layers and made our interactable respond to this interaction correctly using their own layer mask. So if I click on play, perfect, I cannot teleport with the ray, I cannot grab with the teleportation, and I can still use the ray and grab the cube directly. And here on the left side, the simple ray interactable recognize the ray, as you can see, but not the direct interactable. And on the contrary, for the simple direct interactable, it does not recognize the ray. So this is almost the end of the tutorial, unfortunately, but I hope that you are enjoying this video. So if you did, don't hesitate to leave a like below, by the way. But there is a little improvement that I want to show you. You see, when holding an object, we still have the grab ray showing sometime, which I don't like. So in the same way that we hide the teleportation ray, let's tweak the activation of the grab ray in the script. So this will just take a few seconds. Let's select our XR origin, create a new component called activate grab ray. First thing first, let's add at the top using Unity engine.xr.interaction.toolkit. Next, we are going to need a reference to the grab ray game object. So two public game objects, one called left grab ray and the other right grab ray. Perfect. Now the goal is to deactivate this game object when a XR direct interactor is grabbing. So to do so, let's add a reference to our XR direct interactor. So public XR direct interactor left direct grab and public XR direct interactor right direct grab. And now simply in the update function, let's grab ray dot set active left direct grab dot interactables dot count equals 0. This will make sure that the grab ray only activates when we are holding a number of objects equal to 0, which means nothing. So let's copy this line and simply do the same but for the other end. And there you go. Now we can save our script and go back to Unity. The last thing we need to do is, of course, to set up this component. So let's drag for the left grab ray and the right grab ray, the two rays that we have, and do the same with the left and right XR direct interactor. Perfect. So if I click on play now, no more issue. I cannot use the ray when holding an object. So everything is working as intended. Congratulations. And there it is, guys. Thank you for watching till the end, you lovely people from the internet. So we are doing giant step in learning about VR development. And before doing the big Patreon exclusive tutorial, I'm going to show you next week how to interact with user interface in VR. So don't forget to subscribe to not miss this video. And as always, a big shout out to my Patreon for supporting my work. And if like them, you want to have access to the source code of all of my project and exclusive content, join us, link in the description. Bye bye.